we are half an hour behind the schedule, so we have to make it up. And I would request that we come back to the session in the next 15 minutes, by 11.
Or maybe create a new one that would comprise both energy consuming and energy exporting countries. That would help to bring stability to energy markets and ensure energy security to all countries. Now, in this session, there are three presenters, and our first presenter is Dr. Professor Magarov, who will be talking on energy problems in India and Russia and possible cooperation in its solutions.
Thank you very much. I have a problem. My paper is very long. It will not allow the participants to look at the tables properly. But full text of my paper is being available, so I suggest look at the tables in the paper I shall make in the course of the presentation itself. So I will start. The main aim of my paper is to list energy problems of India and Russia, the ways to solve these problems each country envisages, on the strategy to solve the energy problems in India. I mostly cited the 11th five-year plan. And by writing on the strategy to solve the energy problems in Russia, I mostly cited the documents named the summary of the energy strategy of Russia for the period up to 2020, published by the Ministry of Power of the Russian Federation. So to start, the energy problems of any country depend on the one hand on its national resource endowments, and on the other hand on the stage of its development. All this determines the scope for cooperation between two countries in solving their energy problems. India has very large population and lack of easily available energy resources. Just look for tables 1 to 3 in the paper. After gaining, as far as stage of development concerned, after gaining political independence, India entered the process of accelerated transition from backward colonial type economy to modern socio-economic structure. The initial stage of this transition was characterized by prevalence of traditional non-commercial sources of energy, such as fuel wood, dung cake, crop residues, and animal energy. The use of these sources of energy has serious negative consequences aggravated by the growth of population. The socio-economic development was essentially linked with the fast-growing demand for modern commercial energy and with capacity to produce it. Since 1953-54 up to 2006-07, the consumption of commercial energy has increased by more than 15 times, and its share in total energy consumed has risen from 28% to 73%. However, lack of sufficient modern power resources works as serious impediment for sustainable development and necessitates large imports, with an adverse impact on financial situation, foreign exchange position, and general economic growth, threatens the self-reliance and security of the country. Besides, it is slowing replacement of traditional non-commercial fuels, negatively influencing labor productivity, social condition, and health of the bulk of the population. See just table 4. Though the share of non-commercial energy in total energy consumption has decreased from 72% in 53-54 to 27.4% in 2006-07, and is expected to decrease further to 23.6% in 2011-12. In absolute terms, it has increased 2.3 times and is expected to increase further by 14.5% respectively. And now, the ways to solve energy problems in India. For this, please look in Annexure 1 in the paper. These ways, as I already told, are just cite from 11th five-year plan. Of course, the main energy problems in India is shortage of all energy resources. This calls for integrated approach to solving energy problems of the country, which is really is in the 11th five-year plan. The first, from the production side, the plan envisages accelerated exploration of power resources as the prime way of solving energy problems. Again, another way is active search for alternative fuels, such as coal battery types, and imports of energy will grow. So, from the long-term point of view, this calls for maximizing efforts in developing new and renewable sources of energy. From the distribution side, the plan presumes the optimizing distribution of available resources. The next line of the strategy is energy efficiency and demand management. The complex nature of the problems demands complex measures for its solution. Such complex approach is envisaged in the 11th plan. They include energy-intensive industries, small and medium enterprises, commercial buildings, and residential domestic sector, agriculture sector, transport sector, and so on. In all these fields, the efforts will be done to make this consumption more energy efficient. The next line of the strategy is research and technology development. Please see table 6. Next slide, strategic storage of efficient fuels. And again, the special measures to secure regular imports. This is important because in spite of all the measures to increase domestic energy resources and all the measures to raise efficiency of their use, in the mid-term perspective, the imports are bound to increase. So the special measures are taken to regulate imports of energy sources. The first line is to diversify sourcing of such imports away from geopolitically sensitive regions. Another venture abroad in the production of energy. See table 8, the dimension of this line. Growing imports of oil and gas calls further for the building adequate infrastructure facilities for their import. This means India has considered various proposals for international pipeline connections and also development of liquid natural gas import terminal. Look at the table 7. Just another way to reduce high cost of growing oil and gas import is acquiring large tankers for their shipment. Then we will come to Russia. The correlation between energy resources and population in Russia is just the opposite to the Indian one. With only 2.2% of the world population, Russia has the largest known natural gas reserves of any state on earth, along with the second largest oil reserves and the 8th largest oil reserve. For this data, look pages 14 and 18 of the report. As about the stage of development Russia now is, it is since the beginning of 90s, in the name of so-called reform started in 1991, the stage of development of Russia was largely determined by uncontrolled, haphazard privatization of state enterprises, often just for nothing, a dismantling of planning and state regulation, and opening of Russian economy to imports. What was the result of this development? It was tremendous fall in production and investment in the period of 1991 to 1998. We just looking for table 10. As a result, in 1997, the industrial production was 41% less than in 1991. The agriculture production, 36% less. The tremendous fall could not be. This in turn raised the share of energy resources going for export. Third, the new private owners of oil companies striving for high profits intensified production of oil from most easy-to-get oil wells, at the same time closing down those which demanded additional efforts and investment. Previously, permanent geological exploration secured substantial substitution of depleted resources by new ones. However, since the start of the reform in 1991, this is not the case. Geological organization capable to carry on regular exploration of new resources are absent, and there was sharp fall in deep exploration drilling. Just look at the table 11. In theory, oil and gas resources in Russia would be sufficient for about 100 years. However, with the consideration of the present-day situation, oil and gas industry will experience crisis already in 2013. This caused the fall in the production of energy resources. Look at the table 12. Up to 1990, the production of energy resources was increasing, but since the start of the reform, it fell down, and even in 2006 remained below the 1990 level, the only exception, production of natural gas. Then, after initial fall, somewhat increased. The other exception is electricity production from atomic power station. As this development, the decline in the internal consumption, increased the export orientation of Russian energy sector. Just look at the table 13. In the case of the crude oil, the internal consumption fell by 2.4 times, natural gas by 1.5 times, coal by 1.6 times, electricity by 1.2 times. This stimulated growth of energy export by 2.6 times, 2.2 times, 2.4 times, and by 3 times respectively. The share of exported energy has increased from 15% to 46% in the case of oil, from 14% to 35% in the case of natural gas, from 5% to 17% in the case of coal, and from 0.5% to 1.7% in the case of electricity. The production of energy, to a lesser extent, served now the needs of domestic economy and was more oriented for export. Russia was increasingly becoming energy appendage of foreign countries. Although in the later years, the economic growth has raised the demand for energy and its internal consumption increased, the export orientation of the energy sector continued. Russia is the world leading net energy exporter and a major supplier to the European Union. According to IMF and World Bank estimates, the oil and gas sector generated more than 60% of Russia's export revenue and accounted for 30% of all foreign direct investment in our country. The next result of this stage of development is depletion of capacities in the energy sector. The fall in exploration work makes stability of energy production and export insecure, the growth of internal consumption aggravating the problem. The average level of depletion at Russia's 5 largest oil-producing fields now is almost 50% in 2006. Russia has about 41 oil refineries with a total crude oil processing capacity of 5.4 million million barrels. But many of the refineries now are inefficient, aging, and in need of modernization. The increase in the electric power capacity is lagging far behind the growth of demand for power. The annual addition of installed power capacities in the reform years fell by 10 times. As a result, the wear and tear of equipment increased in precarious dimensions. 50% of generating and transmission capacities and 60% of the heating system capacities have already worked out their resources and require replacement by 10 to 20% are in the ready stage. Russian nuclear power facilities are aging. Roughly half of the country's 31 nuclear reactors use the design employed in the Ukrainian ill-fated Chernobyl plant. The working life of a reactor is considered to be 30 years. 9 of Russia's plants are between 26 and 30 years, and 6 are between 21 and 25 years old. Then another problem of Russia is over consumption of energy. The danger of forthcoming shortage of energy is aggravated by overconsumption of energy. The contemporary economy of Russia is wasteful in energy. The power intensity of Russian GDP is 2.3 times more than in the world and 3.5 times more than the European Union countries. So, to conclude, without a large-scale exploration work, without substantial addition to assured energy resources and power capacities, along with the international efforts of energy saving, Russia can experience acute energy shortage in satisfying the needs of economic growth and the export orientation. According to the World Bank report, Russia can face difficult choice between meeting natural gas demands of internal market and selling foreign markets. Now we will come to the energy strategy. Look at the annexes 2. In 2003, the Russian government had approved the energy strategy of Russia for the period of up to 2020. It was the first official strategic document of national significance. It is being further developed by elaboration of draft the energy strategy of Russia for the period up to 2030. What are the main lines of this strategy? First, they propose growth of energy production. According to the strategy, by 2030, Russia will need 1.5 times more energy. The production of oil should grow from 8 to 20%, that of natural gas by 42%, production of coal, electricity by almost 2 times. Again, the share, at the same time, share of fuel and energy in budget revenue 50%, in foreign exchange receipts 64%. By 2030, the strategy presumes the share of fuel and energy sector in GDP will be reduced to 18%, and knowledge will be the main engine of economic development. What are the main directions of strategy? The first one, upgrading technological base of fuel and energy complex, modifying pattern of consumption of fuel and energy sources by the increase of consumption of atomic and hydropower, coal and renewable sources. The next line, improving ecology aspects of energy use. Next, raising effectiveness of energy use by structural rebuilding of economy in favor of low power consuming industry. Use of potential in the field of technological energy saving. Changing the existing norms, rules and regulations which determine the spending of fuel and energy. Toughening energy saving requirements. Long-term investment decision on the development of unique hydrocarbon fields and building of transport system for their assimilation and exploration. Increasing use of...
Excuse me, you are given 2 more minutes.
All right. So, in external energy policy, it is proposed to increase the share of Asia-Pacific region and Southern Asia from 3% nowadays to 25% by the end of the year. So all this, I just will mention the fields of cooperation which would be based on this whole strategy. Of course, they demand forces exploring, and now I can have only a superficial look at these spheres. Just I'll mention participation of Russia in exploration of energy resources of India, and again participation of Indian exploration work in Eastern Siberia, Far East. Then participation of India in development of new oil and gas production fields in Eastern Siberia, Far East, and the south of Russia, North Caspian provinces. Participation of India in development of liquefaction of natural gas projects in Russia, and Russian cooperation in Indian project to develop nuclear power, hydropower, including hydropower station, small hydropower station. Then to facilitate the development feasibility of Indian participation, they should be considered pipeline systems, participation of India in Angarsk-Nakhodka pipeline system from Sakhalin with sea passage through Batalyan Strait, 2 land oil and gas pipelines from northern to southern part of Sakhalin, and Caspian pipeline consortium. On the other hand, participation of Russia in Indian effort to develop international pipeline connection with other countries, as well as in domestic gas and oil transmission network. The realization of these transport routes needs the construction and development of oil and gas terminals, including liquid natural gas terminals. This is also the sphere of mutual cooperation. Then finally, the growth of export and import of energy demands also increasing use of the large oil and liquid natural gas tankers. This again is one of the important planks in the energy strategy of both countries. So the construction in Russia of such tankers or India and joint ventures in operating them would be one more field of cooperation. And then the last field is the research field. Again, the research proposed in both the strategy in many fields are the same. So the field of such research, increased, enhanced oil and gas recovery and recovery of hydrocarbons from abandoned and isolated fields. Then mining and production offshore, liquefaction of natural gas, nuclear power development, coal gasification, advanced coal technologies, coal bed methane, coal to oil conversion, gas hydrates, oil shale, bioenergy, solar energy, biofuels, then hydrogen as a source of clean energy, sea gas pipelines, thick non-corrosive pipes for the transportation. In energy efficiency, technological energy saving, fuel efficient vehicles. And for this, to close down, the complete approach and institutional arrangement for energy efficiency and demand side management used in India would be also applied to Russia. So in Russia, these lines should be studied because they are not developed and can be used in our energy problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Jatinder Khanna, School of International Studies, JNU, harnessing Siberia power of natural resources. Please.
I'm Professor Melio, a genius and a master in his field, a Russian studying and writing on India, as yesterday we were introduced, and me, an Indian interested in the Russian field, which is Siberia. So being a student of regional development long past, I was very much interested, but the circumstances became, like I worked on the Bekalum railway project line, the impact of it on the Siberian economic development. But circumstances and the situations were as harsh and hard as of in the area I had taken up. But the interest and will was true and quite, as you will see, it's huge. Then this is lonely. We can find that the density in this area is quite low. Now Siberia is the treasure trove and the test of 21st century. And it also offers the world and the most direct and the fastest way to connect main economic producing parts of the world. You may see that Japan, for example, Europe, US, Middle East and Southern Asia. Now Siberia holds important energy resources. We can see the percentage and energy troves. Here, sorry. Now this I say Siberia is the opportunity. This is the map or the same taken from the University of Hyderabad, which I visited. Now Siberia, as we know, is a very potent tool for Russia. It's claimed to become a resource superpower. Putin, at a press conference for the Russian and foreign media held in January 2006, it said Siberia is a very important region for us, a region with immense natural resources. Eastern Siberia is a veritable storehouse of natural resources and as yet unopened storehouse of world energy resources. The world will certainly have the need of Siberia's immense resources and its huge scientific potential. So this is my stress because I count the people of a region also a big resource. We are only talking of the energy resource, but I think the first of all, the drilling or the extraction of the minerals, then usage of the minerals, then if you take the transportation, if you take the R&D, all these spheres, so we find people as a major resource. So this is what I feel, and I would like to put it this way, that the policy makers should take along with themselves. Professor Nekasmo also showed that it has huge resource potential when he talked of the geothermal, the other resources. Then we have the Far East, which the revolution in 90 for Siberia's traditional relationship to the West as Urals, as one is calling, then which the slide shows the Soviet Siberia, where the continued use of Siberia as a place of exile and or forced